We live in a hustle culture. We are told that we need to achieve goals. We are told to make lists and to measure metrics and to run every day and never stop until we get to the goal, only to create the next one. Those who do more, work more, are rewarded and celebrated, and those who don't are called lazy. Well, today I'm going to show you how rest is your superpower. I'm Dr. Holda Gueye, and this is the Becoming Yourself podcast. What if all of your problems stem from the fact that you do not really know who you are? What if the world you live in is nothing more than a mirror of everything that you have decided you are right now? And what if the secret to your miracles, to receiving and becoming the dreams that are bigger than you, lie in becoming yourself? I'm Dr. Holda Gueye, and welcome to the Becoming Yourself podcast, the I Am journey to healing your body and your life. Welcome home. Welcome back to the next episode of Becoming Yourself. I'm Dr. Holda Gueye, your host, and my sole purpose here is to bring you back home to yourself, to reconnect you with your truest essence, where all of your desires, all your dreams, your happiest, most joyful, most peaceful life, where your clarity and your purpose reside. Today we're talking about a topic that comes up all the time with the clients and the patients that I work with, and it's probably one that you are dealing with today because it is so prevalent in our society, and that is how to achieve the balance between the hustle of work, and trying to basically get to your goals and balancing this against rest. Now, you can substitute the idea of hustle with stress. I can't tell you the number of times I hear people say, well, I'm going through a stressful stretch in my job, or I have a sick family member that I'm taking care of, or whatever it is that is currently stressing them out, that they are experiencing, and they just sort of cave in to the idea that there's nothing they can do about it, and they just have to hold their breath and push through that stress until it's over. Well, guess what? Life doesn't work that way. You may find that as you're holding your breath and waiting for that tough period in your job to disappear, something else pops up. A death in the family, some drama with some friends, whatever it is, the usual things that life sometimes will just bring our way, or that will end and then something else will start. And so holding your breath and waiting for an environmental trigger to your stress to disappear is definitely not the way. And all of these factors, and you'll find that this is often the case when you have one thing stressing you out and then they just kind of start to pile up, is really the universe, your truest essence, desperately trying to get your attention so that you can figure out that balance comes from within. It is not something you ask your environment for permission to achieve. Now, why is this conversation important on the Becoming Yourself podcast, on this journey of realigning with your truest essence? Well, when you don't figure out how to achieve this balance between hustling and resting, then eventually you will get so detached from yourself. You will shut down all of your natural cues that are asking you for rest, that you will lose clarity from yourself. You will basically stray away from yourself so much that it leads to burnout. And what does burnout look like? It looks like you not enjoying the work that you know is probably your passion, your purpose, and kind of just asking yourself, what is this all for anyways? And not really wanting to do any of it anymore and just feeling so exhausted that you just want to run away. And I want to be clear that rest does not always mean a vacation. You can take a week off on a regular basis throughout the year, then that's amazing. We all want to be you. But many of us, especially those of us that live in the United States, are not able to take a week off every single month from the hustle and the grind so that we can rest. And frankly, by the end of this episode, you're going to see how that's probably not the ideal way of doing it anyways, because again, now you're still dependent on your external environment to change in order for you to be able to rest and relax your nervous system and reconnect to your body and yourself. And so let's talk about this culture, this hustle culture a little bit more. I can tell you from my own experience, and physicians listening to this, doctors, and probably even lawyers and a lot of other professionals can relate to the idea that many of us look at how much we work and our stress almost like a badge of honor. I know that, I was basically programmed, I was trained into this. I knew that I wanted to go to medical school and become a physician since I was 13. And that's when really a lot of the hustle started for me, where I was just determined that I needed to prepare as much as I could and learn as much as I could so that I could increase my chances of being able to get in such a competitive field and also be the best doctor that I could be. And so that meant that I was constantly studying. I was constantly trying to learn something. When I had the decision to, play or rest versus learn, if I chose to play, there was always a little bit of guilt associated with that, which meant that I was basically more likely to choose to learn and study and work than I was to play. And I was able to ride the wave, even though, of course, life felt stressful, but I was able to manage until I hit my residency training, where I was working an average of 100 hours a week. And some of you listening to this probably can't even conceive what working in a hospital with patient care and just trying to learn and figure out the intricacies of your job as a physician for 100 hours a week. And in case any of you are wondering, there are certain regulations that have come up since my residency that I do believe are being enforced. And so residents don't have to perhaps work as much. And I don't know how much of it is being enforced or not and where, but I know that for me at that time, I not only had my 100-hour work week, but I also was a new mom. I started my residency 33 weeks pregnant. And so I had my brand new baby boy that needed so much of my attention. And I had to try to balance being the mom that I wanted to be and also trying to train to become the doctor that I wanted to be. And you mix this in with all of the other things that happen in life in general. And not really having any support at the time, you can definitely see how I was trained to feel like if I wasn't doing something, then my life was failing. And I subconsciously bought into the narrative that how much I worked and how stressed I was, perhaps even, was sort of like a badge of honor. The more stressed out you were, and sometimes we'd have these kinds of conversations with my colleagues, it was almost like, well, who was more stressed out? Who worked more? No one was bragging about how much they weren't doing. It was always about how hard everything was and how much we were working. And although it sounded like we were complaining, there is very much a part of it that was sort of more of a message of, look at me, look at how hard I'm working. And that somehow equated to higher worth. And it really wasn't until I truly went through my burnout and my crash that assumption was challenged. And anyone who knows me today knows that I advocate for and practice the art of rest. And this is what I want to talk about today, because most people who hear this think, what? I can't take a vacation. I can't stop what's happening at work. I can't change the fact that I have this ill family member. And you don't have to change any of those things. And I hope that you can start to implement the things that we're going to talk about in this episode, because finding your balance between hustle and rest will allow you to stay connected to yourself so that you can have a successful journey towards realigning with your truest essence. Because again, if you don't, you will get more and more disconnected every day that goes by, and it's only a matter of time before the walls come crumbling down. Now, there is a spiritual art between the hustle and rest that I do want to just insert here. We all have both masculine and feminine energy. And I think of the hustle energy as a masculine energy, an energy that has been so dominant in my life for so long, probably in a very unhealthy way because it wasn't balanced. And then the energy of rest as more of a feminine energy. Now, don't be confused and think that the feminine energy is passive and does nothing. The energy of rest is actually the receptive state where you have clarity, guidance, vision. This is where genius arises. So the energy of rest, that feminine energy, is powerful. And it is absolutely necessary in order for you to be able to take your life in the direction that you came here to take. So do not underestimate rest. It's not just about getting rid of your fatigue. It's about reconnecting to the parts of you that need you to listen, so that it can inspire you, so that it can give you the ideas and the clarity that no one else can give you, but that state of rest and feminine power. And again, we all have both feminine and masculine energy, and we need to find that balance. And so once you know that rest is where you recharge and reconnect, then you have to make it a priority. And so how do you do that? In today's environment where everybody is trying to make it, to get somewhere, to get away from something, to achieve big goals, do big things, and life is busy. Entrepreneurs, I'm a business owner. We have a busy medical clinic. I'm also the president of a nonprofit foundation called Alpha. And despite having a break during the pandemic, we are starting to get back on track with organizing some projects. I am the founder of MOGA, which is the Mocha OBGYN group, where we try to get together as many Black female OBGYNs so that our voice can be represented in the discussion of maternal mortality, maternal health, and health in general. And that's in its early stages. So we're trying to get that off the ground. The list goes on. I have so much to do, so much on my plate. But I had to basically realize that the only way I was going to really make the impact that I came here to have was to learn the art of balancing hustle and rest without needing to take a vacation every single time. Now, it's important to first realize, how much time do you really need to take a break in the week. So for some people, it looks like a 4-day work week. For others, it looks like working 4 days and a half. For others, the 5 days are fine as long as they have their weekends off. But do take a few minutes to figure out, in an ideal world, and you will know this based on what part in the week you sort of are feeling like you're really drained. In an ideal world, what would that look like? And, is it possible, given your current situation, to perhaps move things around so that you could achieve that with everyone's best interest in mind, both yours and perhaps your employer or maybe your business, but see how you can implement that. I was definitely very burnt out in the first few years of my medical clinic opening, and I realized that I had 0 days off with 3 little kids, and not only needing to see my own patients, in fact, I was seeing all patients at some point in the practice, and then also needing to step in as the role of a medical director and as the owner, and it was a lot. And it wasn't until I implemented it 1 day in the week where I had some administrative time, where I could do some of my other roles as a medical director, as an owner, have the meetings, all kinds of, business relationships that needed to be fostered and that needed attention that I just couldn't give my attention to, and felt like I was running with my head cut off, that I finally felt like I could breathe a little bit, and I could have done that so much sooner. Now, even if this is not possible for you, I'm going to also talk to you about other ways to really achieve more effective rest. Because taking a vacation, as many of us know, doesn't always mean that we get a chance to rest. In fact, some of us come back from vacations and feel like we need a vacation from our vacation. We feel tired, exhausted, and we just need a few days to just breathe. And that's because vacation does not always equal the kind of rest that we are talking about here that will give you that clarity and that reconnection that you seek. And so how do you achieve that? Well, the good news that I'm here to tell you is that you can achieve it even in your busiest hustle days. Because rest and reconnection doesn't take a long time. What it does take, however, is a shift in your state, in your consciousness, and in your perspective. What does this mean? When we are in a state of hustle and doing and checking off boxes and fixing things and turning off fires and yada yada, etc., we are thinking about what happened in the past and analyzing and strategizing and projecting into the future to meet goals. You will notice that you are never in the present moment. It's not possible. We're in our heads and we need to get things done. And so we're not paying attention to how our breath feels and how the paper that we're writing on feels, or the sound of the keyboard that we're typing on. We are focused on what is actually in our head and what needs to get executed, and doing that well. And that is great. That's necessary. But think about the perspective of rest as one where you just come back to the present moment. And that means, for those of you that aren't familiar with mindfulness, that your entire attention and focus is just on what is happening right now. It's not on analyzing or strategizing or thinking about what happened or what needs to happen or what you need to do next. It's just about sitting and paying attention to your surroundings, to the smell in the air, the sensation of your feet on the ground, how the chair under you feels, how your fingertips feel on top of the keyboard or over the steering wheel as you're driving, the sound of your engine in traffic, the birds chirping outside, the rain hitting your window. It's about just paying attention to your now. And some of you hearing this already feel a sense of exhalation, of letting go, because this is the power of presence, of rest. And so to implement this, just pick a few times in your day where you can do this, even if it's for 3 minutes. We all have 3 minutes where we could practice presence. I do it every day on my way to work in the car. I do it when I'm brushing my teeth. I do it when I'm taking a shower. And I set an alarm to do it in the office when I'm seeing patients, on my desk. And by knowing the moments and by kind of being very consistent with the times in the day that I'm always doing this, I guarantee that I'm going to get moments of rest. So I want you to do the same thing. Pick activities you do on a daily basis and assign them as your moments of rest. Times where you do not need your brain to analyze any complex issues, and you can just be present. And again, you only need 3 minutes, but if your ride is 10-15 minutes, then that's even better. And watch how you only need those 3 minutes to really start to feel like your body's tension is starting to lessen, because this is the power of rest. Another tip is to incorporate breath work. And if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a few videos there on helpful breathwork sessions for stress. If you are part of my online community and inner circle or course, you'll also find many resources on that. But you can do a 1-minute breathwork session, and that will give you that time to deconnect or reconnect with yourself and not connect with the stress. And give you the moment of rest that you're looking for. And again, notice how this is bringing you back to the present moment. You can do other things like take a 10-minute nature walk, if that is an opportunity for you. If you work somewhere where there is a trail that you can take a walk on, and try to walk without your coworkers, so you're not talking about that project that's stressing you all guys all out, or the drama that's happening in the break room. Just take a walk on your own by yourself, so you can just pay attention to the color of the sky, the feeling of the wind, how your feet feel on the ground, to just be present. You're not going to dissect and analyze anything in your head. You're just going to stay in the present moment. It could look like having your cup of tea on your patio. It really could be any activity where you feel like you are receiving some nurturing, and it allows you the opportunity to just be present, to stay and keep your attention on what is around you right now. Try to also incorporate paying attention to the sensations in your body. Not just your physical body, but also your emotional body, which lives in your physical body. Pay attention to where it is, where your attention is. Are you having tense shoulders? Is it tightness in your chest and your abdomen, perhaps your feet? And breathe through those locations and send yourself some love and nurturing. And all that means is you're going to talk to yourself as you are breathing in and paying attention to those areas in your body. So again, you're coming back to what's happening with you right now in the present moment and giving yourself the nurturing that you need. And so all of these things don't take a long time. They don't need a 1-week vacation. And by the way, the next time you take a vacation, make sure you incorporate longer sessions of these moments of rest and watch how your vacation will truly feel like a vacation. But you don't need a vacation to create these moments of rest. So I want you to commit to valuing this feminine energy of rest, where connection, vision, clarity, power live, and balancing that out against the energy of the hustle and grind and stress. and let go of the honor that perhaps you once thought was in hustle and grind, and embrace the beauty and the power that lives in balance. I hope that this episode helped you get closer to you. And until next time, I'm Dr. Holda Gueye, and this was the Becoming Yourself podcast.